Perez, and this is Straight Talk, no sugar added. Thank you so much for being here. This show is created for you to challenge and transform your thinking. And why are we doing this? I try to go around finding the best humans on the planet to come on here and challenge and transform the way we think so that we can grow and keep expanding our lives. And so today I have Kirk let me say this right. Is it McCarley?
You said it perfectly.
Oh, well, it's awesome. Okay. He's a certified professional coach, as well as a certified professional in human resources with more than 30 years of executive leadership experience in both public and private sector. And he has a coaching platform called the Seed Sower Coach and has a solid reputation for fostering individual growth and development beyond the client's expectation. So first of all, I love the name of your coaching. I love that, the Seed Sower. For many things. I'm actually a person of faith, so the seed sower means something to me, but also the fact that when you plant a seed in someone, or plant a seed anywhere, right? What you plant, and if you take care of it and you cultivate it, you'll grow a lot of great fruit from it. So at least that's what I get the moment I read that title.
You've got a beautiful garden. I wish everybody could see what I'm seeing. I see some hydrangeas and some other stuff out there. It's just gorgeous.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about you, Kirk. Tell us about yourself.
Neena, I'm in Northwest Florida. We've come here circuitously. I was born and met my wife in college. We've been married for 41 years. We've got a couple of kids. They're grown, a couple of grandkids to go with those, and a third one who is also on the way. Started off my career in human resources and did that for various outposts in Texas, and job opportunity came up in St. Louis in 2001 that took us there. We became Midwesterners, indoctrinated into that, and that consequently helped us discover Florida. We love the sugar white sand and the emerald water, and so staked our claim here. And we've been here for 4.5 going on 5 years now. So how I got into coaching from HR, I hired a coach myself. And this was as I was getting into the latter stages of my career in HR, and knew that I didn't want to retire, as many are want to do at that time. So I explored pathways that I could take. And an aha moment came through for me about our third or fourth meeting when I looked him in the eye and said, I want to do what you do.
Right.
And so I embarked upon that journey, got my education, got certified, and here I am now getting to work with all kinds of neat and wonderful people.
Yeah, it is a fun thing to do. I actually coach as well, and I really love it. I really, really love it. And I'm really more their partner, right? I'm really more their partner, not just their coach, but I'm their partner. Like, we just partner up together, their expertise, my expertise, and forward we go, right? It's just a beautiful journey. So in this seed sower coaching, is there like a certain person that you work with, a certain outcome that you're looking for? What do you do with Seed Sower?
As you said, Neena, it's walking alongside of the individual, having a lot of curiosity, asking good questions, probing, sometimes giving a little bit of homework assignment out, but just mostly being along for the ride and being fascinated with the ideas that these folks have, where it is that they want to get to in their lives and their vocations. And what I've heard more and more of in this COVID season is this desire to have impact, leave my footprint on this world. How can I do that? And so a lot of people that are seeking that at this time. So
was this something, well, you said that you had gotten a coach yourself, and that's what brought you into the interest of doing coaching. But what got you to the point of having to have a coach yourself? Like, what is it that drove you to have to, find someone to guide you in certain areas?
Good question. At that time, I was in my mid to late 50s. And again, I knew I didn't want to retire, but I wanted to transition something else. And there were some possibilities that I gave consideration to. I could go into being a psychotherapist, had to go back to devote a tremendous amount of school if I was going to proceed with that. Classroom teaching had some appeal. I always liked working with young people, and even thought about a call to the ministry, whether I was being beckoned into doing that based ministry. But at the end of the day, as I was weighing these things, somebody suggested to me, coaches can be wonderful with helping you discern the direction you want to go in, where you want to end up. And so I took some good advice and encountered this individual in St. Louis who was actually doing some organizational development for me as an HR director with groups of our executive level team, and learned that he did coaching. And I said to him, would you consider working with me? By all means. And that's when that relationship embarked there.
That's fantastic. And it's funny, Kirk, we have that a little bit in common. I am a chef by trade. I'm a director of culinary operations right now. And the same thing with me, like I wanted to do a little bit more outside of what I normally do on my day to day. And I wanted to I was thinking, do I go into ministry myself? And so I got very much into theology. And was thinking about going back to school to get my MDiv and get into theology. And then coaching fell on my lap. I just started to love, because you being in HR and me being a director, we have people that we already kind of coach. You guide them through, with work and experiences, and you listen to their problems and stuff. So it was almost a natural feeling, wasn't it?
It was a natural transition. You're absolutely right. Because as I got later into my career, it was less being in the weeds about how do you interpret this as far as compensation, classification, and employee relations, but it became more and more employees coming into my office and saying, Kirk, I'm frustrated with my career, the direction things are going. Can you help me with that? So it was almost a catapult into that direction.
Right. That's what I mean. I think that, a lot of our experiences in life and things that we do in our lives can really help the next person, the next generation, the next, a thought leader that's struggling with something. What I'm trying to say is we all have value. We all have value that we can bring to the table. And a lot of us are different types of coaches. There's coaches for all different types of, fields, which is great. Do you in particular have like a set of people that you like to work with? Like, for instance, I work with mission-driven, high-performing female professionals. They're just what I drive with because that's who I am. And so that's what I drive with the most. Is there something you like to work with a little bit more in your practice?
There is, and let me tell you a story about that, because we both shared a little bit of our faith. God sometimes has different ideas than me as to who I'm going to coach. So I have two groups of individuals that I target. One are late career people, so create impact, find that capstone, what it is that, so to speak. So I target that group. But I'm also fascinated with those who are just getting their careers launched, and maybe they're out of school, they've been out for 3-5 years, and this just isn't cutting it. What do I want to do with my life? So helping those folks explore that as well. I have those clients, but I also get everything in between. And last year was particularly interesting because I noticed in the middle of 2020, I started getting a lot of requests from mid-career professional women, African American, and I was very fascinated with that. What is the attraction that I bring this particular demographic? And what a neat time that was to learn all kinds of things that I had not considered before, and also to help some individuals advance in their own careers. This year, executive level individuals from India who are now residents and citizens of the U.S. living and working here. So that kind of became the theme for 2021. And who knows what else is lurking out there as we proceed
Right.
towards the end of this year. So we'll find
How
out.
fascinating. That's
Yeah.
fascinating because you're right. I mean, God is, I always say he has like the best sense of humor, sometimes not so funny, right? When I go through things in life, I'm like, God, this is not so funny.
If it were not so, I wouldn't be. He has a sense of humor. You were just placing me on this planet. So
yeah, he's amazing. But it's really fascinating, right? That you were able to get those kind of perspectives and experiences. That's really, really great. And something you maybe wouldn't have thought of yourself, right? Like maybe you wouldn't have thought of going after the African American professional demographic, or the Indian person who came from India that is here in the US. Like I wouldn't have thought of that either. Is that something that you worked with in the past, or just kind of like all new and fell on your doorstep?
I do now because I've got that experience,
Right,
and I've enjoyed that experience. But I always tiptoe very carefully too, as far as appealing to a specific group. I've also worked with people who have physical impairments and even some that are mentally challenged as well, because I don't want to necessarily in, and I don't want to step on anybody's footsteps. So it's happened rather organically.
Yeah.
If it comes up in conversation with someone who's a prospective client, who do you work with? I can name off a pretty good litany of individuals, but there's always going to be a demographic that I have not worked with and that I haven't even thought of yet. It's kind of like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I love that, when you follow what you feel like God is telling you to do, or you feel like you're called to do, how he opens up those doors of opportunity that way, or just like makes you appealing to someone you probably would have never thought of, right? It's pretty fascinating how he does that.
He does. And just kind of catching the flow of that conversation, we have a church home where we live here, but we've also continued to attend worship services online with the church that we attended regularly in St. Louis. And I've gotten a lot out of the messages. And the minister talked about the value of small groups. And I thought to myself, and I mentioned to my wife, that'd be kind of neat to get into a small group. I wonder if they have small groups for online people that are not residing in the metro area. So I contacted the church and asked that question, and the response was, no, would you mind leading one? And I'm kind of like, okay. So
that's what happens.
That was February of 2020. 3 weeks later, COVID hit. Every group went virtual.
Wow. That's interesting.
But here is the neat blessing out of that. Early got baptized, 70 years old, and he asked me to stand in the water with him as he went through that.
Oh,
and
wow.
What an honor and a privilege to do that. I was just infinitely blessed by that event. So cool.
Yeah. So, when I read your the name of your coaching platform, I automatically, because I'm a person of faith and I have belief system in God, I automatically went there with my mind, like, oh, okay, this is a faith-based. Is it a faith-based? Is your platform a faith-based, or is it just, it's for anyone?
It's for anyone. I like to describe myself as a Christian who also happens to be a coach.
Right.
But it's not necessarily Christian-based coaching. If I know someone is of that persuasion, that will come into conversation invariably. But I have people that I minister to through all walks of life, all different aspects of faith, and there's something to be learned from that. So it is not solely focused on that. If I have another Christ follower, wonderful. But if somebody is agnostic towards the faith, wonderful too. I have the opportunity to share and witness to that individual and fulfill maybe a component of that Great Commission to go out and make disciples of all nations. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's really good because you shouldn't close yourself off. I feel the same way. Because I mean, we live in the world. We literally live in the world, right? It's like we live here. So do you have okay, so I know that you have your coaching platform. Are you still doing your small group too? Or did that finally stop?
Still doing my small group. As a matter of fact, no, it's still going. And as a matter of fact, I need to go watch this week's message so I can be prepared to facilitate tomorrow evening when we all get together via Zoom. So that's on the to-do list.
Yeah, that's great though. That's great that you took that on as well. Good for you. So you do you ever have that moment of have you ever been confronted with coming or having someone come onto your platform or wanting to be coached by you that you saw that you maybe couldn't help? Or do you feel like you take on all of the clients that come on? Have you had that experience?
That's a good question, Neena. And I would say 98% of my clients will work through things. We may not be exactly in sync, but we'll persevere. We'll figure it out. Yeah. I was talking to a prospective client just this afternoon, and I said, he asked me, he had a very good question. What makes you unique? And I responded to him, I feel I can connect with just about anybody. We're going to find a topic that we'll share some intimacy on and that we may know better than many people. And so we'll connect on that. Having said that, there are times that you'll meet someone that this relationship is just not working out. And I thought of a case just recently where it was a individual that indicated he was more interested in the recommendation that somebody else he was working with gave to him. And I more or less said, fine, you should probably go with that individual because that's going to be a better fit for you. Yeah. So we just kind of had a mutual parting of the ways. I've never had anything that's been acrimonious or tense. They've all been perfect.
Yeah. And I don't think they have to be, right? I think if you come with the mindset, Kirk, at least that's how I try to run my practice anyway, is I always come with the mindset of this has to be beneficial for my client and for me, because it's really frustrating, as you know, as a coach, if you're really trying to help someone who doesn't want to be helped or refuses to do the steps to be helped, then you feel like you're doing them a disservice, right? So you feel like, wow, I'm going to give you a bill so you can pay the bill and then we're getting nowhere. That's not fair to them. That's not fair to you. And at least I've had clients where I've had not many, same thing, about 98, 99%, maybe one, if I can remember even recently, where it just wasn't a good fit. And that's okay. That's okay. And there doesn't have to be no tension. There doesn't have to be anything. I ask that because I think it's important for people to know that if you've had a bad experience with a coach before, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Look for another coach, and sometimes we need more than one coach. We may need a coach in this area and a coach in this area, like a coach in weight loss and a coach in life, a coach in podcasting and a coach in X, at least that's my take on it. What do you think about that?
I like that idea. Of course, I want to share some of the bounty of coaching. And so if somebody is so predisposed that I want a specialist coach in all these different areas, I say knock your socks off. philosophy or approach is not usurping what the other one is attempting to do. So we all need to be in collaboration and in synchronicity on that.
Yeah, I agree. I also believe in collaboration, right? Because it's important that if we're going to share knowledge with one another and maybe even clients with one another, depending on, the person, you don't want to be, bashing another coach for a different skill set or something else they did. I would never do that. I don't agree with that. I don't do that because I feel like living your life with integrity is really what matters, and impacting as many people as we can along the way.
And in career coaching, interviewing comes into that to a large degree. And one of the fundamental basics is don't badmouth your previous employer or a previous manager.
Yeah.
Point out what their good sides are, but you can present that in a positive way. She brought me into the organization to augment employee relations or finances or administration. The interviewer will discern from what you have said and not said what that person's vulnerabilities may be, but you've said nothing of ill will towards them, even though you may be leaving just because you can't stand working with them anymore.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. That was a really good tip, because I think that a lot of people don't realize how small this world really is. And you never want to burn a bridge, because you just never know. I mean, you really never know. And that person could be going through something. I always call it our maps, right? That person map in life is different than our map. And so just because we don't agree doesn't mean that they're wrong, or, sometimes things are just what they are. And life is what it is. And this is a real pleasure speaking with you. I want to move to Florida, hopefully one day. So who knows, maybe we'll be neighbors somehow. But I really want to thank you for what you're doing and the way you're impacting people's lives. I love, again, your platform. And before I let you go, I would love, wait, hold on, you froze. So I would love for you to share with my audience how they can contact you, how they can reach you, to talk to you, maybe possibly about becoming a client, of your coaching program, and to see what it is you have on your platform. Can you give us that?
I would love to, Neena. I'm located in Northwest Florida, Santa Rosa Beach specifically. I have a website, theseedsowercoach.com. I can be contacted via email, kirk@theseedsowercoach.com, or my still St. Louis Midwestern phone number of 314-677-8779. Call or text me.
That's amazing. Great. And so this will come out, and I will make sure that all of your show notes are attached below with everything for people to reach you. And I'm glad we connected. This is a very pleasant conversation. So
yeah, you're delightful, and I love your backdrop. That's beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And guys, I appreciate you being and spending here this time with us. So make sure that you go ahead and you click subscribe and share this episode. And also make sure that you follow Kirk. I'm going to put all of his information below. I'm going to put all the show notes and the timestamps, so you'll know exactly where to go for whatever information it is that you're looking for. I love the premise of the Seed Sower. I think this is going to be a great transformation for anybody who joins in with Kirk. So thank you guys so much for being here. This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, no sugar added. Until next time.
This broadcast is brought to you by Winject Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.